Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are reviewing the new record from Clipping, There Existed an Addiction to Blood. I couldn't resist listening to this album after seeing all the praise for it and seeing the record label on which it was released, Sub Pop Records, notorious for signing bands that played a central role in the grunge scene, Nirvana and Soundgarden, but also now becoming more and more famous for the softer side of indie and folk with Fleet Foxes and My Boy, Father John Misty. This record label, Sub Pop Records, is only proving to be multifaceted while churning out more genres, now including experimental hip-hop. As in this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the third studio album from the American group Clipping. This group consists of rapper Daveed Diggs and producers William Hudson and Jonathan Snipes. The biggest name or star out of this group would be Daveed Diggs. He is an actor. He was part of the hit musical Hamilton. He undertook multiple roles for which he won both a Grammy and Tony Award, which I always find so impressive and showing a lot of talent, especially when you are dabbling in multiple art forms, not only music, but performance in terms of acting. Very much like in the same way that this record label, Sub Pop Records, is being aggressive and ambitious to cover multiple genres, I feel like Daveed is someone who doesn't put all of his eggs in one basket. It kind of reminds me of South Park and how the creators of that show had their own musical on the side, The Book of Mormon, while still at the same time they wrote songs for the feature film of South Park. Now, speaking about films, that is a thing in common with Clipping, as they are heavily inspired, especially in terms of this album, by movies. They are a group that express themselves in horrorcore, which in the traditional sense is about supernatural, occult, and psychological horror themes that kind of drive the lyrics. The lyrics can be inspired by movies and performed over these moody, hardcore, and noise-driven beats that are typically characterized by anger, aggression, and confrontation. The best example of this movie theme on the album comes on the song Possession, where we have this excerpt from a 1971 horror film, The Return of Count Yorga, where we have terrifying screams to go along with it. The best song compositionally, melodically, and dynamically has to go to Nothing Is Safe, a song that has cold, hard, nasty flows, stellar production, and one of the best instrumentals I've heard on a hip-hop track all year. Now, this is an experimental hip-hop release, so you're going to have some challenging times listening to some of the songs on here, and I think the best one to showcase that is La Mala Ordina. We have crunching and overblown audio after the final verse, where Benny the Butcher's verse on here is also very solid. But yeah, talking about that overblown audio, it's no shock that there's a great list of sonic influences on this album that really inspire this overblown audio, I think. As for Clipping, at least on their Wikipedia page, they reference artists like Tim Hecker, Death Grips, My Bloody Valentine, to name a few. Yeah, when you mix influences of those artists, that's exactly what you're going to get with Clipping. It's something that's terrifying, something that's going to be harrowing. It's going to be captivating. I can't recommend this album enough in the way that it's going to engross you, entice you, have you sitting, listening, hanging on every single word. Club Down is a track that is scary, it is screeching and ghoulish. And it's not always about being frightened or scared out of your pants. Really, you gotta have an album that, as hip-hop goes, we have to have some technical flows, technical skills, and Daveed, he can definitely hold his own on here. Run for Your Life is a song that is minimal with its beat, but we have Daveed come through with a steady and engaging delivery. He brings Eminem level of speed while rapping on the track Blood of the Fang, and he also has great technical ability on the track Story 7, where we have seamless switching between flows, which in a time where we have so many rappers trying to put their music out there, whether it's on SoundCloud, whether it's through a big record label even, I just think we have so many rappers that are bringing the same kind of thing to the table. They might be able to switch between flows, but it's really just alternating between like one or two of their best. David really does pull out all the stops. I feel like he's running through a catalog of different ideas that he has. And that's the difference that sets apart this album from, let's say, a Logic album or a J. Cole record. Not to say that those artists can't rap or can't come up with interesting flows. It's just that David, he's captivated me in a different kind of way and has made me want to sit through this album that is pretty long too. Moving on from there to throw in some good head scratchers on this album, and yes, it is okay to be confused sometimes, especially with the dark and captivating mood that I've kind of talked about with this record and then what it does when it plays. We have some Donald Glover kind of lyricism on the track The Show, which kind of switches things up, feels a bit odd in a good way because I do like Donald Glover. And out of all the tracks that are driven by mood and rhythm, we have a song that is pretty melodic with All in Your Head. We have a soaring and optimistic kind of melody going on here, which is a very confusing part for me on this album because it starts out so slow and brooding, but it washes over with such beauty. And then I guess jumping to the Endless record, that's when I realized that I was kind of lying when I said that La Mala Ordina was challenging to listen to. I don't know how patient you are while listening to white noise or watching one of those fire log, Yule log TV shows, but Piano Burning is the excruciatingly tense and really anticlimactic ending to this record. But for what this album does to lead up to this point, you just expect something scary to happen, and that just never comes. And sure, 18 minutes might be too long for some. I really don't mind it when it's the scary effect and this tense building of burning. And yeah, it does feel out of left field and brings the album runtime to over an hour. I just can't really hate on it too much when the quality of all the other songs is there. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this record, and I know it's not going to be for everyone, just like any musical recommendation. There's the review of Clipping. I had to do it. I love sitting through this album. I love listening to this. Make sure you sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of this music. Is it challenging for you to get through? Tell me why. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a rockin' day.